on the left-hand side, playing Sigrid.
Oh,
Have CleanerCode versus.
wow.
Oh wow!
I'm so proud of myself right now.
So there's a couple things here. So first, both players recognizing that this is not the end of the world if like this set ends here, because they've both qualified. It's just proceeding, and yeah. So I guess they both realized like let's just go for a bit of a fun strat. But the other thing is that Sigrid is actually pretty okay on this map, depending what the commander bands are. Because of the way it plays.
I think Sigrid is a very interesting choice on this map because it forces a base rush from both players. I think because you can't really defend 1 Rax versus 2 when Sigrid is on the board.
Yeah, because like
so
the strategy is that you build golems on defense, right? That's the play, or dragons. And Sigrid will just eat it. So if you have a big chunky unit on defense, like Sigrid will just go straight through it. So yeah, she's actually a pretty good choice in this kind of circumstance. Me and Zeronix were testing a map recently, and the one thing we realized is we both picked Sigrid because like oh, you know, you pick the weaker commander, right? Because like it kind of tests the map itself. But Sigrid broke the map, so he can and like through circumstances like this, like the idea was that you would build like big units on defense, but because of her ability to just chew through golems, yeah, she's so strong. So Sigrid's going so deep for CleanerCode. Damn. And I like what CleanerCode's doing on defense, like going for that dragon will give the ability to just kind of pick off Sigrid.
I don't really like it because I think in the Sigrid mirror on this map you should go all in on offense and just, you know, rush HQ basically.
Right.
Not a big fan of the thief either, but like yeah, look, the dragon, what is it gonna do now?
I guess
Sigrid covers
her
her entire army.
Oh, CleanerCode has Sigrid of their own. Is that thief gonna go down? I don't think so.
Could? Never mind. That sword was too weak.
Alright, so let's see. Ttam continuing to do damage. Kills a lot of units this turn actually. And you know, when you got 2 barracks against 1, that is going to be a ton of pressure.
Yep.
Ooh, moves the dragon to support the offensive side. Is feeling very confident.
That's what I'm talking about. You send the dragon on the on the offensive side.
Ooh, but unless CleanerCode walks Sigrid onto this road, I think could potentially end the game very soon.
This is so tense.
Okay, how is ttam going to deal with this? Oh, goes for a suicide? Softens up Sigrid? Moves their own Sigrid back? Just kind of abandons the attack and is going very heavy on the defense now.
I think he could have traded the dragon for safety on his HQ. Although, yeah, he was gonna lose the base trade, so he kind of has to defend. Although CleanerCode doesn't have that big of an army. Actually, I think this would have been very, very good if he spawned like another lethal unit, I guess. What he could have done is like spawn another dragon and then put the dragon next to the HQ so that Sigrid can only groove it from the roads.
Oh, I don't know how I feel about...
That's very exposed.
Yeah,
There's 3 sides at the moment.
3
Don't think
sides.
the
There's a
balloon can die.
there's a crit available from a weakened archer. Is this over? I don't think so. Oh, but like there's just gonna be a ton of damage coming down.
Can the balloon even escape if there's a surround? Is what I'm wondering. Alright, looks like it can't. Oh,
Oh, well, I mean, the sword, there's a weak sword that just needs to die. So.
actually, no. The balloon can't escape because of the flagstone. Ah, never mind. Ah, the thief could have blocked that spot. That would have been such a good play if the low HP thief just walked below the mountain to take up all the spots.
Okay, so they're both still in it. Although, look at the timer. And, like, they did actually set it to the 1 hour timer, as was correct. But 10 turns in, they are...
Oh. Yeah, I guess these last turns were very complex. And, like, a little slip up could mean game over. So they really spent time for it.
Yeah, and ooh, Archer plus Mage will kill that dragon. I think it's an even roll.
Yeah, it's a coin flip that I never get, actually.
Oh. I think ttam has the lead here.
Yeah. Although he isn't very aggressive on the opponent's HQ. I think he has a lead because he has 10 minutes more than CleanerCode on the timer. So he doesn't even have to be aggressive anymore.
Yeah, that makes sense. And they're actually both of them losing a bunch of army kind of works out well because then there's like it becomes a simpler board state again and they can play quickly.
Yep.
I do think though that ttam can do a bunch of damage this turn. Even stuff like the archer's gonna get a free poke at Sigrid. That's gonna do 9%. Isn't huge, but it's a nice little bit of damage. Thief is slowly
Free
working
poke is
its way
always
back.
good. I'm pretty surprised that the thief is gonna make it back, actually.
It did get help from like the balloon, so actually
Yeah,
CleanerCode
that
is
makes
pushing
sense.
on the weak front.
Well, I mean, that's more because ttam has concentrated his army around his HQ. Because I think he's got the timeout in mind, so he's defending his HQ. Which means that CleanerCode is a little more free to attack from the other side. Although, I don't know how well he can sustain that push. It is his weak side.
The steel's coming in, so yeah, ttam's got a nice bit of economy. And has, you know, what, like 5 minutes ahead on the clock? So, on the map. And it went from like a base race to ttam pulling back. And I guess like they just have to figure out how to like win the game at this point. Because they spent so much time in the mid game.
Yeah, and since ttam doesn't have to be aggressive, it's gonna be very hard to break through. Like, there's a big giant vertical line of a front right now. Which is both a simple and a complex position to play.
And I think ttam has a bit of an economy lead, especially with that thief steal. So they're just gonna kind of gather their forces, rally them, and then go
I
for.
think the game is about even right now. It does look like CleanerCode maybe has a little more expensive units, but probably not by much.
And there's 3 dragons on the field for CleanerCode. They really just want to end the game. Ooh, picks off a mage. But they have to do something.
Yeah.
How do you play like, I mean, because it is kind of a stalemate. Although it's like a kind of very positional stalemate. It's not like a true stalemate, it's just we need to like play footsies for a bit.
I mean, this is like the best case scenario for if ttam wants to go for timeouts.
I love baiting with that injured thief. It's like very low value unit at this point, but it has the potential to like tip the scales economy.
It is low value unless you ignore it.
Yeah. And if you go for it, then you know you're gonna trade a knight for an injured thief.
Yeah, I think at this point we're getting close to the point where CleanerCode doesn't have enough time to do any other play than rush HQ. So yeah, I think last turn he only built a dragon.
Yeah, just builds a golem. So, and I guess like
this is looking like ttam is gonna get this game.
Yeah, and I guess like you just want to build a whole bunch of witches and threaten like that kind of witch style lethal. And Sigrid, for as much as she's good at like the base race aspect early game, she kind of sucks at this mid game, late game part.
Only early game.
Like the theory of like what makes a good Sigrid is like she gets really good value early, gets a really good groove on a nice unit and kind of snowballs. But in this situation, there's like an actual wall across the map. This would be great if there
has used groove once, and then I don't think Sigrid hit anything from that point actually. So
I feel like
this is like
oh
I think
no,
this is the most amount of units I've seen in a few months.
Yeah, and now comes the witches. They're just building a lot of those. They're just hoping to hex down someone.
Yeah, and I mean, when there's that many units, witches are very good.
And just like a little bit of repositioning coming in here. And this is like kind of the issue of high income maps, is that witch spam becomes not quite inevitable, but it's like one of the strongest plays you can go for. And yeah, CleanerCode's just like, we're gonna end this. I'm just gonna throw in a ton of witches at you. And just like...
I mean, he is behind on the clock, so if this continues like for too long, he'll lose.
Yeah, and now ttam just needs to do as much counter-attack damage. All these witches are gonna die to mages and or other witches.
Although, I mean, witches don't... If they're next to each other, they don't die to other witches, right?
Yeah, but all the witches were kind of spread out, and the mages were here just to pick off.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that little witch incursion to do a bunch of hex harass. And there's not enough time on the clock for them to kind of come up with like some really cool plan to
There is just too much units to go through to make any cool plays, really.
Yeah. The dragons are coming in there though. So are we gonna see...
Yeah, I guess the idea is like you put your witches in front for CleanerCode the first turn, so that you like all the anti-air gets exposed, and then the turn after that you send the dragons in.
Yeah, but there's a lot more anti-air. And I wonder if there's actually even lethal this turn.
That's possible with four witches that can reach Sigrid. There's a lot of units around her. And I don't think ttam is gonna take the time to calculate lethal in this position.
Alright, so just...
This is giant armies.
Yeah, I think Titan's just gonna go for as much damage as possible. Maybe try and like kill everything around Sigrid and then go for a lethal afterwards.
I mean, at this point, you just press spacebar, and then you see what that unit can hit.
Right.
And then you go for it.
Yeah, it makes sense. Okay, what can CleanerCode do here? They have a minute and a half left on the clock. Can they make it through?
I don't think they can.
Oh, I mean, they're doing damage.
You know, witches do have a downside, is that the hex animation does take some time from your timer compared to just attacking.
Yeah, I mean,
He's
you're
getting
right.
in good trades, but don't think that's what he needs right now.
Just, you know, heals the golem for what he can. Alright. What can T10 do in this position? Archers, I mean, archers are incredible in this circumstance, right? Where they can just sit back and shoot stuff from range. Open up gaps for other units to get kills. Oh, we're gonna see.
Also, like, eventually the armies are gonna be too weak to do anything, right?
That is true. I thought we were gonna see that injured golem go down, but not this time.
Oh, he was on 11% actually.
Okay. What's CleanerCode gonna do? Oh, 20 seconds left on the clock. Eats a golem. So, good value at the end, but I don't think they were gonna win this massive grind at the end. Ooh, but actually they can almost do this. If they can... Oh no, they ran out. Like, if they could just get a little bit further and hit the stronghold. But alas, they fall to the timer. And that's the thing, they spent so long on those mid-game turns, right? That both players were just like, we gotta speedrun the rest of the game. Because they were both...
And they kinda did.
Yeah, they both really did. Yeah, it was ttam playing stall and CleanerCode not able to get the victory. This game didn't matter too much. I mean, I say that, it could very well end up mattering a lot later on, but they both qualified, right? So...
Yep. I mean, in theory, it means your next opponent is weaker, right? I mean, it's lower seeded.
Yeah, although if enough people go down into the lower seed side, then we could end up seeing like some really high level players facing each other early on. But
of course, but you get the worst of the two, I suppose. Although, just winning a set doesn't make you that much better than your opponent, I guess.
okay,